In this week's members blog, we're going to highlight one drill from the first couple weeks of the sequential hitting plan based on a question I often get this time of year. Youth players are starting, high school coaches are going full steam, and they often ask me, Justin, what's your favorite drill? Or what's a drill I can use with my hitters that's really going to get them to capture the essence of what we're trying to get across in the sequential hitting plan? And I do have one drill. There is no quick fixes in hitting, but there's one drill that I really like that does capture a lot of different phases of the swing as we go through the different segments of the sequential hitting plan. And that drill is the feet together, step and hit. The feet together, step and hit drill can help us with different areas of the player's body as we work through the swing process. And it starts from the ground. One of the biggest issues that young players have is they often get stuck on the backside either from an overload or they have the old squish the bug type swing. And the feet together step and hit drill is one that I use to let them feel the body's forward advance from the instep of the back shoe. That's going to allow us to get the back knee to gain ground with the stride foot as we get forward. Three things should be gaining ground at that time. My back knee, my belly button, and my stride foot are all moving forward together. So what you want to see the players do is that total body advance versus a reach with the front foot where the back knee hangs over the ankle. The idea here is to feel instep pressure. By keeping pressure, even with my feet together, on the instep of the back shoe, the back knee will automatically advance for that hitter. Next, controlling the ground with my feet simply means I keep pressure in that back shoe during a slow advance to make sure that weight doesn't go forward of center. Young hitters, again, lack body control, and that's an issue that we see all the way through our adolescent players into high school and even collegiate guys, where they tend to get jumpy, the weight goes forward of center in their landing, and they get very heavy on the stride foot. The feet together step and hit drill is a great one to maintain pressure in the back foot all the way into my foot down position. So the cue I use with hitters is feel that foot anchored to the ground. If they struggle with that feeling, I tell them, press your instep of your back shoe into the ground as you stride. What you're going to feel here is good quad pressure in that back leg, which is going to keep that back foot anchored to the ground into their landing. But once we get to that foot down position, now I'm asking the backside to unanchor. And how that happens is the back leg is going to begin to turn the hip chassis, thus releasing the back knee and shoe and taking it for a ride. So those hitters that we had in the old squish the bug, reach with the stride foot, back knee hangs over the ankle and we kick out, that is a false hip rotation. The hips are turning, but there's no real force being provided into the baseball during that spinning movement. So as we do the feet together step and hit drill, the third thing I like about it is controlling that momentum forward, getting the back knee to advance on time is going to help me get that backside to completely release into the baseball. If you were looking at it with your iPhone on high-speed video, you would see then that the back kneecap is going to turn to the baseball, and I'm going to be up on the back toe by the time I get to this contact position. At no time prior to contact should I see flexion in my back toes. The flexion in the back toe happens as the player balances up in the finish or follow through the swing. So I would be up on the toe at contact. You see some players that have a little bit of foot skipping. That means the foot is slightly off the ground at the point of contact. If a player like an Albert Pujols or an Adrian Beltre, extremely wide hitters, those guys that are 65% of their body height or more at foot down, you're going to see a lot of dragging with that back foot as well, as the back knee has to get underneath the head by the time you get to contact. With you players, you shouldn't see that so much. If you have a great deal of slipping or the old Frank Thomas foot coming 4 feet off of the ground, that player has too much energy in his front leg prior to rotation. So those are 3 areas from the ground that we can control through this feet together step and hit drill. Next, tempo, also week 2 of your video series. A great way to control the body's speed into foot down is with this drill. That allows us through a few different cues to test the player's speed out into his hitting position. The cue I use here when I'm coaching this up for the first time is I say you can literally go as slow as you want out to foot down as long as your back knee is still gaining ground and you're not cheating by leaning back or reaching. Remember, there's a wall that extends from the instep of my back shoe up my body that my knee, my hip, shoulder, and of course head are going to stay inside that imaginary wall, advancing away from it, not leaning back and cheating. So controlling the tempo, keeping pressure in that back shoe as I walk out. It'll be really easy as the feet are really close together starting. It gets harder as I get wider, closer to my hitting position. Tougher then at that point to slow the body down as you're getting to your full width at foot down. So we like to control that tempo with a cue. A coach can be on the other side and tell the hitter to either hit or take one of the drills that's in our video series, and you can test then the speed of which the player is working out. The reason being, if the player is going too fast and we say take, you're going to see him starting the swing or getting into his front leg too early. This is all about perception of the player's body, getting him or her to understand what their body should feel like at foot down and the speed in which they're getting there. So that hit-take command is one that I like to do so they get that body perception. They know exactly where they're at when they're landing. One of the areas that will aid the body's tempo is the pullback in the upper body. Think of this as the handbrake on the bat, pulling the upper body back as my lower body gains ground. Often a coordination issue with young players, thinking of my lower body is going this way, my upper body is going the other way at the same time. That's not easy. But this drill will help us get the feeling of pulling back simultaneously as I'm gaining ground. And they do have to happen at the same time. So you'll see players that take their hands forward. You'll see players that load the hands early and then advance. Eventually the hands are coming forward early with it too. So a good feeling of the timing of the body, not timing of the hit, timing of the body as we're working our lower body away from a scap loading upper body. So when we do a tempo drill, the pullback will aid the body slowing down to our eventual foot down position. And then again, we're going to release our hips and barrel into the baseball in one fluid motion. With young players that are getting that feeling for the first time of the hands going back, you can also start the bat right in the center of the body and force them to have to take the hands back as they advance. Starting in this foreign position, of course, they can't hit from the hands right in their sternum or their midline, so they know they have to pull the bat back as I'm going forward. So as you can see here from 5 to 10 minutes of explanation about one drill, there's no perfect drill that's going to match up for every hitter. But this is one of those mainstay drills that I do almost every day with our hitters because it works for several different flaws. We can pick and choose what flaw or what segment of the swing we want to work on through the drill, and it's one that we make a definite part of our hitting program on a daily basis. So for those dads that are saying my kid's not hitting the ball hard enough and I want him to hit blazers through the center of the field, this is a good one to start with.